You know, to be called champagne, it must come from the Champagne region of France, right? And it must consist of only these three grapes: Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and Chardonnay. Hi, it's Tanisha, Girl Meets Glass, and wine on Wednesday were I'm at Reims. And I'm sitting down and was thinking about some of the tastings I've been to and just some of the things that I've experienced over the past few days or whatever, and wanted to tell you about Vin Clair, which is something that I don't think everyone knows about or that many people know about outside of, say, the champagne industry. Vin Clair, or clear wine, is the wine created after the first fermentation of what is to later be champagne. I won't get too nerdy with this, but do you understand how champagne is made? Distilled wine is blended before fermentation and can come from multiple parcels of land, multiple villages, and also different crews. Know that they create a wine, and then that they stop the fermentation of that. Then they do a second fermentation, and that's how they add, that's when they do the process to make it sparkling. Vin Clair is the first one. And so what they have to do with that is they need to take Vin Clairs from several different crews, villages, and different parcels of land in order to blend that together. One of the hardest things about Vin Clair and turning it into champagne is the flavors must be consistent every year. So that's the reason champagne does not have a year on it. It's non-vintage. So they need to mix the different Vin Clairs plus some reserve wines from the previous year in order to make sure the flavor and the taste and everything is still the same. Whew, what a tough job. In creating the perfect blend using Vin Clair, cellar masters must also kind of predict the future. They need to taste to see how the flavors will develop, how the wine may taste after aging, and also after the second fermentation. If anything goes wrong in this process, they blend the wrong thing, it doesn't taste right, the final champagne, non-vintage, won't be the same as the year before. Vin Clair is extremely acidic, with it being distilled wine before the second fermentation, so it takes a very long time to taste them. You can only taste so many in a day, but there are so many that need to be tasted. This process can actually last across several weeks. The tasting, the note-taking, and such. I've tasted about 4 or 5 of them in one sitting and definitely thought the enamel was coming off of my teeth. So I can only imagine how it is for the cellar master that needs to taste, take notes, and on in order to get the perfect Vin Clair to turn into the perfect champagne, also known as the one. Creating a vintage champagne is actually much easier than non-vintage because a vintage champagne can have its own style, whereas non-vintage must taste like the year before. But there aren't always enough grapes, and the year might not be perfect for vintage. So vintage champagnes don't come out every year.